That's what's changed, because on the weekend you said you wanted to make sure this will never happen again. Now
yes,
you're saying we have to accept that we're in the bubble. What's changed in the past 2 days?
Well, nothing has changed. And if you look at my comments, instead of reinterpreting them perhaps, you would understand the point I was making is the people turning up unannounced should never happen again. That's the point that I made. The notion we have to wait 12 plus hours to get the names and addresses of people should never happen again.
Okay, so
they're the points that they are the points that I was making. Sorry?
So they're welcome now, you just have to know about it.
Well, and is that and that's put to me as if that's some sort of an unreasonable request. Of course, it would be preferable for us to know about it. Of course, it would be preferable for us to know about it. I think every premier in the state, every premier in the country, would be very keen to know about it, given that we're in the middle of a global pandemic.
So on Friday night, when the New Zealand
no, because we were not. No, because we were not part of the bubble.
I understand.
Simple as that.
The potential for people from New Zealand to come here, given our borders were open once they landed elsewhere.
No. Again, I'm trying to be as clear as I can, and what you're putting to me is that somehow the Victorian government, the West Australian government, the Tasmanian government, we're all wrong, but apparently the Commonwealth government's tickety-boo and fine. No, they're not. Do you want to be in the bubble? No. Are we in the bubble now? Yes, we are. Not because of a decision we made, but that's what's happened. Now we just need to work through this, provide the best information to people when they arrive, and I'm confident we will do that. Seriously, there's nothing more to this than the fact that we were asked a question, we answered, the result was very different, but that's happening now. I can't stop it short of closing our border, and I really don't think that's an appropriate thing to do. That would have so many knock-on effects for other people who are already in Victoria. That would not be... We want to get the borders open. We don't want them closed. But I would have thought the fact that this has happened in multiple states would see all of us perhaps broaden our view on this away from who said what at a meeting of officials, and perhaps look at the fact that this has had unintended consequences. I'm happy to. If the federal government's presentation was right, well, this has become broader than we thought, I would have been fine with that. But the notion that they, saddle up to blame us, it just doesn't make any sense.
All I was asking, sorry, was that given we said no to the bubble,
yes,
was there an expectation then that people from New Zealand, once they landed in Australia, just wouldn't come to Victoria?
I think that's a fair point, and I think that beyond that there may well have been an expectation that if they were going to, that we might be told about that, as opposed to having to find out as they, got off a plane. That's and the point I'm making is that's exactly. So okay, was that but was that?
Governments that no one actually thought that this might.
Well, no, hang on. Well, okay then. Well, if that's the position, then that same oversight was made by Tasmania, WA, and us. I don't see it in those terms.
WA's borders are closed. So
well, but with respect, whether their borders open or not, people have turned up in Perth without the WA government knowing. If that's gold standard, then I don't agree with that. I don't think that's just like people turned up, border shut, border open, people turned up from another country in Melbourne without us knowing. And I assume the same thing has occurred given that there's no international flights go into Tasmania. I assume exactly the same thing has happened down there. So that is not ideal. That is not ideal because members of Victoria Police, authorised officers and who knows who else have spent a considerable amount of time this weekend chasing up people that we were on the very clear understanding were not coming here because the bubble did not include us. We've spent a bit of time on this, and the reason we have is I'm not having my officials or our hard-working team blamed for things that happen at the Australian border or the Sydney airport. I think that's just unfair. It's just unfair.